Welcome to this exploration of the things we need to quietly eliminate from our lives. Today, we embark on a journey rooted in the ancient philosophy of Stoicism, which emphasizes the importance of living in accordance with our inner values and striving for a tranquil mind. The lessons we will discuss encourage us to reflect deeply on the areas of our lives where unnecessary burdens have accumulated, leading us away from true peace. By thoughtfully letting go of what no longer serves us, we can pave the way toward a life that is more aligned with our authentic selves. As you follow along, consider the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, and how their wisdom resonates with the modern challenges we face. Think of this as more than just advice. It is an invitation to look within and make changes that can transform your daily experience. Stay with us until the end as we uncover insights that will help you navigate life's complexities with grace and resilience. You may find that the small acts of letting go we discuss here have the power to create profound shifts in your well-being. Let us now begin by examining 10 things you should quietly remove from your life. As we proceed, keep asking yourself, which of these am I ready to let go of today? 1. Quietly remove comparisons from your life. The habit of comparing ourselves to others. One of the most persistent sources of discontent in life is the tendency to compare ourselves to others. Whether it's noticing a colleague's promotion, a friend's new house, or a relative's seemingly perfect life on social media, we often look outward to measure our self-worth. But does this practice bring us closer to tranquility? Is it a wise use of our time and energy? Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is within our control and to let go of distractions that lead us away from a life of virtue and contentment. Marcus Aurelius reminds us in his Meditations that very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Reflecting on this wisdom, we can see how comparisons cloud our judgment. They pull our attention away from our own progress and direct it toward the achievements of others. Achievements that we may not even desire for ourselves. This behavior can diminish our appreciation for what we already have and obscure the unique path we walk. Why do we compare? It's natural to wonder why we feel the need to compare ourselves to others in the first place. Could it be a deep-rooted drive for social acceptance? Are we conditioned by society to constantly measure our worth against external standards? Consider the ways in which comparisons have influenced your own decisions. Have you ever pursued a goal simply because it seemed prestigious or desirable in the eyes of others? Ask yourself now, when I compare myself to others, do I feel uplifted or weighed down? The answer is often revealing. If comparisons lead to feelings of inadequacy, it is a sign that this habit is more harmful than helpful. The harm in comparisons. When we constantly measure ourselves against others, we invite envy, resentment, and self-doubt into our lives. Instead of valuing our own achievements, we undermine them by placing them side by side with someone else's accomplishments. The truth is, every person's journey is unique, filled with different circumstances, opportunities, and challenges. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of recognizing these differences and focusing on our own path. Epictetus, a former slave-turned-philosopher, taught that our true power lies in our ability to control our own thoughts and actions. It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters, he said. This principle can be applied to comparisons. When we encounter the success of others, our response should not be to question our own worth, but to reaffirm our commitment to our own growth. Practical steps for letting go of comparisons. Cultivate gratitude for your own life. Each day, take a moment to acknowledge something you are grateful for in your life. This shifts the focus from what others have to what you already possess. Set personal goals that reflect your values. Avoid goals that are based on the expectations or standards of others. Instead, focus on what genuinely matters to you. This will give your pursuits meaning and purpose. Limit exposure to social media. Be mindful of how much time you spend scrolling through other people's lives. Ask yourself, is this activity enriching my life, or is it a source of unnecessary comparison? Celebrate the success of others without diminishing your own. When a friend achieves something significant, be genuinely happy for them. Their success does not take away from your potential to succeed in your own way. A Stoic reflection. As you move forward, remember that comparison is often an illusion. We see only a small part of someone else's life, often their highlights, and rarely the struggles and sacrifices behind the scenes. Stoicism teaches us to appreciate the reality of our own circumstances and find peace within them. Now, let us continue by examining the next area of life where we can find relief by quietly letting go. 2. Letting go of unrealistic expectations. Navigating the storm of expectations. Have you ever set a goal that felt unattainable or placed an expectation on yourself or others that resulted in disappointment? Unrealistic expectations can be like a storm, tossing us about and leaving us disoriented. In Stoicism, we learn to accept reality for what it is, rather than trying to force it into an idealized mold. When we do this, we open ourselves up to a life that flows more naturally and peacefully. Understanding where expectations come from. Why do we hold such high expectations? Are they shaped by the ideals of society, cultural influences, or perhaps even the media? Often we are not aware that our expectations are not truly our own, but borrowed from external sources. Ask yourself, do my expectations reflect what I truly want, or are they based on someone else's definition of success? Reflect on a time when reality did not meet your expectations. How did you feel? Did you experience frustration, regret, or a sense of failure? Stoicism encourages us to adopt a more flexible mindset, one that allows us to adjust our expectations to better fit the reality we encounter. The dangers of unrealistic expectations. When we cling too tightly to what we think should happen, we lose sight of what is happening. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on what is within our power while letting go of the outcomes we cannot control. By setting rigid and high expectations, we set ourselves up for inevitable disappointment. Life is unpredictable. We cannot always dictate its course, but we can choose how we respond. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By letting go of unrealistic expectations, we regain our power and allow life to unfold as it is meant to. This does not mean giving up on aspirations. It means approaching them with a realistic perspective and acceptance of the outcome. Steps to release unrealistic expectations. Identify the source of your expectations. Are they influenced by societal norms, personal experiences, or external pressures? Understanding their origin helps you assess whether they are reasonable. Practice amor fati, love of fate. Embrace the notion that whatever happens is a part of your journey. Instead of resisting, find a way to appreciate the lessons that come with every experience. Set goals. Based on your effort, not outcomes. Focus on what you can do rather than on what you expect to achieve. This shift allows you to experience satisfaction regardless of the results. Accept imperfection. Life is not always perfect, and neither are people. Be gentle with yourself and others when things don't go as planned. A Stoic reflection. Ask yourself now, what expectations am I willing to release today in order to find more peace? Recognizing that your happiness is not dependent on perfect outcomes, but on your response to what life offers, is the essence of Stoic resilience. 3. Abandon unnecessary goals. The courage to walk away. Are you pursuing goals because they are genuinely meaningful to you, or have they become an obligation or habit? Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is to let go of goals that no longer serve our well-being. In Stoicism, we are taught to prioritize the essentials and to practice apatheia, or freedom from passion, when considering our commitments. Why do we cling to goals? Consider the possibility that we often pursue goals out of fear rather than desire. Fear of failure, fear of being perceived as a quitter, or fear of disappointing others. Ask yourself, if no one were watching, would I still be pursuing this goal? The answer may reveal whether you are on a path that aligns with your values. Sometimes we hold on to goals because we fear the judgment that may come from walking away. Yet, the Stoic approach encourages us to find contentment in the progress we have made, and recognize that changing course is not a sign of failure, but of wisdom. Recognizing when a goal has become unnecessary. In Stoicism, we are reminded that not all pursuits are worthwhile. Goals that drain our energy, consume our time, or no longer align with our deeper values can become obstacles to a peaceful and purposeful life. It is wise to periodically review your objectives and ask, does this still bring value to my life? Does it contribute to my growth? Imagine a scenario where you have worked tirelessly toward a particular goal, but it brings no real joy or satisfaction. Would it not be better to redirect that effort towards something more meaningful? Abandoning unnecessary goals creates space for new opportunities and a clearer sense of purpose. Steps for letting go of unnecessary goals. Evaluate the value of your goals. Regularly assess whether your goals are still relevant to your life's purpose. If they do not contribute positively, it may be time to let them go. Accept that changing course is a sign of strength. There is no shame in admitting that a goal is no longer worth pursuing. In fact, it demonstrates a commitment to authenticity and personal growth. Focus on the effort, not just the outcome. The pursuit of a goal should enrich your life, not drain it. Concentrate on the process and the lessons learned, regardless of whether you achieve the end result. Embrace the freedom that comes from letting go. When you release a goal that is no longer valuable, you reclaim your time, energy, and focus. This opens the door to new and more fulfilling endeavors. A Stoic reflection. In the spirit of Stoicism, ask yourself, am I pursuing this goal for the right reasons? Is it leading me toward a life of virtue and tranquility, or away from it? Let this reflection guide you as you consider which pursuits are worthy of your time and which should be left behind. 4. Eliminate gossip and negative talk. The power of silence and kind speech. Gossip and negative talk may seem harmless or even entertaining, but they often come at a great cost to our inner peace and the quality of our relationships. In the teachings of Stoicism, we find a recurring emphasis on the power of words and the importance of using them wisely. Our speech reflects the state of our minds. If we engage in gossip, we reveal a mind that is preoccupied with judging others rather than focusing on self-improvement. The Stoics urge us to choose words that are kind, constructive, and aligned with our pursuit of virtue. Ask yourself, how do my words reflect the person I aspire to be? If the answer reveals a pattern of negativity or idle talk, it may be time to reconsider how you communicate with others. The words we speak not only shape our relationships with those around us, but also affect our own mental state. The more we engage in gossip, the more we feed a mindset of judgment, competition, and negativity. Why do we gossip? Gossip often arises from a place of insecurity, jealousy, or a desire to feel superior. It may even be an attempt to bond with others by discussing someone else's shortcomings. However, Stoicism teaches us that such behavior is beneath the dignity of a virtuous person. Epictetus once said, "If you hear that someone is speaking ill of you, instead of trying to defend yourself, you should say, 'He obviously does not know me very well, since there are so many other faults he could have mentioned.'" This response illustrates a key Stoic principle. The words of others cannot harm you unless you let them. But what about the words you choose to speak about others? When we engage in negative talk, we inadvertently harm ourselves by lowering the standard of our character. The wise person does not need to criticize others to feel valuable. Their value is inherent and comes from living in accordance with virtue. The impact of gossip on your state of mind. Think about the last time you participated in a conversation that involved gossip. How did it make you feel afterward? Did it bring you closer to the person you were speaking with, or did it leave a sense of unease or regret? Gossip may seem like an easy way to pass the time, but it often leaves us feeling less fulfilled than if we had chosen to speak about something more meaningful. In the words of Seneca, associate with people who are likely to improve you. This advice applies not only to the company we keep, but also to the conversations we engage in. Surround yourself with individuals who inspire you to discuss ideas, not people. This shift in focus will naturally lead you toward more enriching and constructive dialogue. Practical steps for eliminating gossip and negative talk. Be mindful of your words. Before speaking, ask yourself, is what I am about to say true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If the answer to any of these questions is no, it may be wise to remain silent. Redirect conversations. When you notice a conversation veering towards gossip, gently steer it back to a more positive topic. For example, if someone starts speaking negatively about a colleague, you could mention something positive that person has done or share a lesson you learned from them. Practice empathy. Before criticizing others, put yourself in their shoes. How would you feel if similar things were said about you? This practice will help you develop compassion and reduce the tendency to speak ill of others. Surround yourself with positive influences. If your social circle frequently engages in gossip, consider spending more time with individuals who focus on personal growth, constructive discussions, and positive thinking. A Stoic reflection. Reflect on the power of your words and the effect they have on your state of mind. The next time you are tempted to gossip, pause and consider whether it aligns with the person you aspire to be. A Stoic lives with intention, not impulsivity, and recognizes that true peace comes from speaking and acting with virtue. Now let us explore how we can detach ourselves from the need for external validation and approval, which often fuels the desire to speak ill of others. 5. Release the need for external approval. Live for yourself, not for the approval of others. The quest for validation from others can be exhausting, and it can lead us away from our true selves. In Stoicism, we are encouraged to cultivate a sense of inner worth that is independent of external praise or criticism. This teaching is especially relevant in today's world, where social media and societal pressures often lead us to seek approval at every turn. How often do you find yourself making decisions based on what others might think? What would happen if you began to prioritize your values over external expectations? The Stoics taught that true freedom comes from living in accordance with your own nature, not in constantly trying to meet the expectations of others. Epictetus famously said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This means accepting that others may not understand or approve of your choices. Their opinions are beyond your control, but how you respond to them is within your power. Why do we seek approval? The need for external approval often stems from a lack of self-acceptance. We seek validation from others because we are unsure of our own worth. But Stoicism teaches that our value is not determined by others. It is determined by how we live and act according to virtue. Ask yourself, am I doing this because I truly want to, or because I hope to be seen in a certain way? The answer to this question can help you identify whether your actions are aligned with your authentic self or if they are driven by the need for approval. Consider the times when you felt most content and fulfilled. Were these moments characterized by doing what others expected of you, or were they times when you were living in harmony with your own values and desires? Reflecting on this can reveal a great deal about what brings genuine happiness and satisfaction. The burden of constant approval seeking. The need for approval can become a heavy burden, leading to anxiety and self-doubt. If we base our worth on how others perceive us, we are likely to be disappointed, as their opinions can be fickle and ever-changing. Stoicism reminds us that we cannot control how others think or behave, but we can control our own responses. When we learn to trust our own judgment and value our own principles, we free ourselves from the chains of external validation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This observation is a powerful reminder to prioritize self-approval over the approval of others. When we do so, we allow our true selves to flourish, unencumbered by the need to fit into someone else's mold. Practical steps to release the need for approval. Set boundaries. Learn to say no without feeling the need to justify yourself. Your worth is not determined by how much you please others, but by how faithfully you live according to your values. Focus on self-acceptance. Spend time cultivating self-compassion and acknowledging your own strengths. When you accept yourself fully, the opinions of others become less significant. Reflect on your motives. Before making a decision, ask yourself whether it is motivated by a desire to seek approval or if it truly aligns with your values. This practice will help you make more authentic choices. Cultivate relationships that encourage authenticity. Surround yourself with people who respect your individuality and support your growth. These relationships will strengthen your resolve to live true to yourself. A Stoic reflection. Living for the approval of others is like trying to grasp the wind. It is always beyond your reach. Let go of this pursuit and turn inward, finding strength in your own principles. The more you trust your judgment, the more you will realize that your own opinion is the one that truly matters. With this understanding, let us now turn our attention to the relationships in our lives and examine how we can quietly walk away from those that no longer contribute to our well-being. 6. Quietly walk away from problematic relationships. The art of graceful exit. Ending a relationship, whether it is a friendship or a romantic connection, can be one of the most challenging experiences in life. However, Stoicism teaches us that not all relationships are beneficial, and sometimes the wise course is to walk away quietly. This is not a sign of weakness or failure. Rather, it is a recognition that some relationships hinder rather than help our journey toward a tranquil and meaningful life. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." This wisdom reminds us that we have the power to choose how we respond to the behavior of others. If a relationship consistently brings negativity, disrespect, or pain, it may be time to step away, not in anger or bitterness, but with grace and a commitment to our own well-being. Why do we stay in unhealthy relationships? There are many reasons why we may cling to relationships that no longer serve us. Fear of being alone, feelings of obligation, or even the hope that things will change can keep us stuck in cycles of dysfunction. But ask yourself, is staying in this relationship helping me become the person I want to be? If the answer is no, it may be time to consider moving on. Stoicism encourages us to embrace reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. If a relationship is unhealthy, we must acknowledge it and act accordingly. This does not mean we must cut ties abruptly or harshly. Rather, we can choose to quietly distance ourselves and let the connection fade naturally. There is a quiet strength in choosing to walk away with dignity rather than prolonging a situation that causes harm. How to walk away? Gracefully. Reflect on the situation. Take time to consider whether the relationship is truly unhealthy. Are there patterns of behavior that consistently bring you down or compromise your values? Honest reflection can help you determine if it is time to step back. Gradually create distance. If you decide to end the relationship, start by creating some distance. This can be done subtly, such as by declining invitations or reducing the frequency of contact. Communicate calmly if necessary. If a conversation is needed to explain your decision, keep it simple and focus on your own needs rather than blaming the other person. You might say, "I need some time to focus on myself," or "I feel that it is best for us to go our separate ways." Resist the urge to broadcast the breakup. There is no need to share the details of your decision with others. Keeping the matter private allows for a more graceful exit and protects the dignity of both parties involved. A Stoic reflection. Letting go of a problematic relationship is an act of self-respect. By choosing to walk away from those who do not value you or contribute positively to your life, you affirm your commitment to peace and well-being. A true Stoic understands that it is better to be alone than in poor company, for solitude offers the space for reflection and growth. Having considered how to walk away from harmful relationships, let us turn our attention to managing our emotions, particularly anger, in a way that promotes inner tranquility. 7. Manage anger and frustration with composure. Transform anger into purposeful action. Anger and frustration are natural emotions that we all experience, but if left unchecked, they can lead to rash decisions and strained relationships. In Stoicism, anger is viewed as a destructive force that can be transformed into something constructive. Instead of allowing anger to consume us, we should learn to channel its energy into actions that bring about positive change. When you feel anger rising within you, ask yourself, is this emotion helping me or hurting me? The Stoics advise that we pause before responding in moments of frustration. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." This means that when faced with anger, we should strive to respond with reason and calmness, rather than reacting impulsively. Why do we get angry? Anger often arises when reality does not meet our expectations, or when we perceive an injustice. While it is natural to feel angry in such situations, the Stoics remind us that we cannot control what happens, only how we respond. Consider whether your anger is justified and whether expressing it will lead to a constructive outcome. Often, we will find that remaining composed yields better results than lashing out. The dangers of uncontrolled anger. Uncontrolled anger can damage our relationships, harm our reputation, and leave us with regret. It is not a sign of strength, but rather a lack of control. The Stoic practice of self-discipline involves training the mind to remain steady, even in the face of provocation. When we master our emotions, we gain the freedom to act with clarity and purpose. Steps to manage anger and frustration. Pause and breathe. When you feel anger rising, take a few deep breaths to calm your mind. This simple act can prevent you from reacting impulsively. Reflect on the cause. Ask yourself why you are angry. Is it something within your control, or is it an external event that you cannot change? If it is beyond your control, let it go. Redirect the energy. Channel your anger into productive actions, such as working on a personal project, exercising, or addressing the issue calmly. Practice forgiveness. Holding on to anger is like carrying a heavy burden. Letting go of resentment and choosing to forgive is an act of strength, not weakness. A Stoic reflection. Anger is a signal that something needs to be addressed, but how we respond to it defines our character. The next time you feel anger building up, see it as an opportunity to practice self-control and transform it into purposeful action. By doing so, you demonstrate the Stoic virtue of composure. Now let us move on to the ways in which social media can affect our peace of mind and how we can use it more mindfully. 8. Mindfully use social media. Digital minimalism for a peaceful mind. In an age where social media is ever present, it is easy to become consumed by the digital world, often at the expense of real-world experiences. While social media can be a tool for connection and inspiration, it can also lead to harmful comparisons, distractions, and anxiety. The Stoic approach to life involves focusing on what is within our control and setting boundaries to protect our peace of mind. Ask yourself, do I control my social media usage, or does it control me? The answer may reveal whether you need to set healthier boundaries around your online activities. Stoicism teaches us to guard our time and attention as valuable resources. When we allow ourselves to be constantly distracted by social media, we risk neglecting the present moment and losing sight of our priorities. The impact of social media on well-being. Social media often portrays an idealized version of life, leading us to compare our reality with the highlights of others. This comparison can breed dissatisfaction, envy, and a distorted view of success. The Stoics encourage us to be content with what we have and to find joy in the simple pleasures of life. By setting limits on social media use, we can reduce the influence of external validation and focus on what truly matters. How to use social media. Mindfully set specific times for social media use. Instead of checking your phone throughout the day, designate certain times to engage with social media. This will help you avoid mindless scrolling. Question the purpose of each visit. Before opening a social media app, ask yourself, am I looking for something specific, or am I just killing time? This reflection can help you use social media more intentionally. Limit exposure to negative content. Unfollow or mute accounts that promote negativity or make you feel inadequate. Surround yourself with content that inspires and uplifts you. Take regular breaks. Periodically disconnect from social media to reconnect with the real world. Use this time to pursue hobbies, spend time with loved ones, or simply enjoy nature. A Stoic reflection. Remember that your time is precious and should be spent on activities that enrich your life. Social media can be a source of distraction, but it can also be used mindfully to enhance your experience. Approach it with a sense of purpose, and you will find that you have more time and energy for the things that truly matter. As we have now discussed ways to manage our time and attention, let us move on to the importance of letting go of the need to justify our actions to others. 9. Avoid justifying your decisions unnecessarily. The freedom of quiet resolve. The urge to explain or defend our choices is often rooted in the desire for approval or fear of being misunderstood. However, constantly justifying ourselves can be exhausting and, ultimately, unnecessary. In Stoicism, there is a powerful lesson in learning to trust one's judgment and accept that not everyone will understand or agree with our decisions. Ask yourself, why do I feel the need to explain my choices to others? Is it out of fear, insecurity, or the desire for validation? By letting go of the need to justify your actions, you demonstrate confidence in your ability to make decisions that are right for you. The dangers of over-explaining. When we over-explain, we give others the power to judge our choices, and we may even begin to doubt our own decisions. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Waste no more time arguing what a good person should be. Be one." This means focusing on living in accordance with your values rather than trying to explain or prove them to others. How to let go of the need for justification. Recognize that not everyone needs an explanation. Some decisions are personal and do not require validation from others. Trust yourself to make the right choice. Keep explanations brief and focused. When you do need to explain something, keep it concise. There is no need to go into great detail. Accept that you cannot control others' reactions. Whether others agree with your decision or not is beyond your control. Focus on what you can control, your actions and responses. Practice inner confidence. Remind yourself of your reasons for making a decision and let that be enough. Your self-assurance will grow as you practice making choices without seeking approval. A Stoic reflection. There is a quiet strength in being able to make decisions without the need for external validation. By practicing this approach, you develop greater self-trust and independence. Remember, a true Stoic is guided by their own inner compass, not by the opinions of others. Finally, let us conclude with a discussion on the value of embracing contentment and finding fulfillment in what we already have. 10. Embrace contentment over chasing more. The path to inner fulfillment. In our pursuit of happiness, we often fall into the trap of constantly seeking more possessions, more achievements, more recognition. However, Stoicism teaches us that true contentment is found not in abundance, but in appreciating what we already have. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." This statement invites us to shift our focus from external acquisitions to internal contentment. Why do we chase more? The desire for more often stems from a sense of lack or inadequacy. We believe that acquiring something new will fill the void, but this is often a temporary solution. Ask yourself, am I truly dissatisfied, or have I simply been conditioned to believe that I need more? The answer may reveal that the fulfillment you seek is already within your grasp, waiting to be recognized. The benefits of practicing contentment. When we embrace contentment, we free ourselves from the cycle of desire and disappointment. We become more present, more grateful, and more attuned to the simple joys of life. Stoicism encourages us to minimize our desires, not out of deprivation, but as a way to find freedom and happiness in the present moment. Steps to cultivate contentment. Practice. Daily gratitude. Each day, take note of 3 things you are grateful for. This practice helps shift your focus from what you lack to what you already have. Simplify your life. Reduce the number of possessions and commitments that do not add value. This creates more space for the things that truly matter. Set realistic goals. Rather than pursuing grand ambitions, focus on small, achievable goals that bring a sense of accomplishment and contentment. Appreciate the present moment. Take time to enjoy simple pleasures, such as a walk in nature, a good book, or time spent with loved ones. A Stoic reflection. Contentment is not about settling for less. It is about recognizing that you already have enough. By appreciating what is in front of you, you find joy in the present and let go of the endless pursuit of more. Embrace the peace that comes from knowing that what you need to be happy is already within you. As we conclude this journey through the 10 things to quietly eliminate from your life, let us reflect on the wisdom of Stoicism and how these teachings can help us live more meaningful and tranquil lives. By letting go of harmful habits, unrealistic expectations, unnecessary goals, and the need for external validation, we create space for what truly matters. We learn to appreciate the present, practice gratitude, and pursue virtue with intention. I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Which of these points resonated with you the most? How will you begin to implement these changes in your life? If you found this content helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others who may benefit from these insights. Thank you for taking the time to watch and engage with this journey of wisdom. May you find strength, peace, and fulfillment on your path. Stay mindful, stay present, and keep growing.